Chapter 2. The Office That Answers. The audit did not begin with questions, and this surprised Elias only briefly before his training reasserted itself. Questions implied uncertainty, suggested that information was missing or incomplete, but nothing about the voice suggested uncertainty. What followed instead was a recalibration, an adjustment of scope so subtle that someone less attuned to systems under review might have missed it entirely. The book in his hands had changed, though its weight remained constant. The leather felt different now, warmer, as though touched by invisible hands moments before. It felt relevant in a way it had not moments earlier. Entries that had read as archival records now carried a quiet immediacy. The difference between reading about a system and recognizing that the system is currently operational and you are within its jurisdiction. Marginal notes, previously faded into the authority of age, had sharpened. One annotation, written in a cramped, angular hand, now bore a second underline that Elias was absolutely certain had not been there moments before.
An audit of what?
He asked, his voice steady, professional. There was no immediate response. This too felt procedural, a familiar rhythm from his consulting work, the slight delay when a system processes a query through appropriate channels.
An audit of continuity.
Elias exhaled slowly.
Continuity of what?
Another pause, longer this time, waited with consideration, then with perfect clarity.
Office adherence.
That phrase settled into him with the weight of something he had once tried to articulate and failed. He had spent years arguing that institutions did not merely drift toward corruption through human error. They were kept, maintained, nudged back into familiar shapes by forces that did not announce themselves.
You're saying,
he began carefully,
that these offices, these functions documented in the record, are active, currently operational.
Active is imprecise,
the voice replied.
They persist. Operation implies choice. These functions persist regardless of choice.
The lights in the basement returned to full strength, the transition so seamless it felt intentional. The house resumed its ambient sounds, distant pipes contracting, the low hum of electricity, the barely perceptible creak of wooden joints settling. Elias set the book down on the basement steps, feeling the wood creak faintly under its weight. He had learned long ago that proximity mattered. Systems behaved differently when scrutinized too closely.
Who am I speaking to?
He asked. The response came after another measured pause.
You are addressing the office responsible for auditing compliance among appointed functions. I am not a person. I am not an entity in the sense your question assumes. I am the function that verifies whether other functions operate within their assigned parameters.
Elias found himself nodding.
Your quality control,
he said, translating the concept into familiar language.
Internal audit for a system that predates modern organizational structures?
That analogy is functional,
the voice acknowledged.
The record you have accessed documents offices that persist. My function is to verify that those offices adhere to their constraints. When adherence fails, adjustments are required.
And you believe adjustments are needed now?
Belief is not involved. Deviation has been measured. Your presence here, your comprehension of the record, triggers protocols that have remained dormant for approximately 4 centuries. The last audit of this scope was conducted in 1624, concluded in 1631, resulted in corrections that proved temporarily effective.
Elias felt his pulse quicken, despite his efforts to maintain analytical detachment.
And you're telling me this because
Because you will conduct the audit, your training, your disposition, your demonstrated capacity to observe systems without imposing premature conclusions, these qualities make you suitable, not chosen. Suitable, there is a distinction.
What happens if I refuse?
Refusal is not possible. You have accessed restricted information. Comprehension creates obligation. This is not punishment or coercion. It is consequence. You cannot unknow what you now know. The audit must proceed, or the deviation will continue unchecked.
Elias looked down at the book, its leather binding dark and worn, containing knowledge that had survived centuries of suppression through the simple expedient of being true, or at least functionally accurate, enough that those who encountered it could not dismiss it entirely. He thought about his life before this moment, the careful research, the rejected analysis, the voluntary withdrawal from professional circles that refused to acknowledge what their own data suggested. He had been preparing for this, he realized, even when he thought he was simply removing himself from frustrating circumstances.
Where do we begin?
He asked, and in asking, felt the weight of something settle onto his shoulders, not crushing, not unbearable, but substantial. The weight of responsibility for work that would require precision, patience, and a willingness to see what others had chosen not to acknowledge.
With the first deviation, with the office that has maintained technical compliance while violating the spirit of its constraint, open the book to the entry for Agaris. That office will be your introduction to how persistence operates when oversight has lapsed.
Elias retrieved the book from the steps, feeling its warmth seep into his hands again, and opened it to where the pages wanted to fall. And so the audit began.